de los infiernos, no se vayan a asustar. Venimos de los infiernos, no se vayan a asustar. Cuando enterramos y cuernos que son solo para bailar. Cuando enterramos y cuernos que son solo para bailar. Son de los diablos, son que venimos a cantar. El metal lo canta más, la guitarra a entonar. Son de los diablos, son que venimos a cantar. El metal lo canta más, la guitarra a entonar.
Son de los diablos, son de los diablos, son de los diablos, son de los diablos,
Hi, I'm John Stewart, and this is the Hotel California. I grew up in Sudbury, Ontario, and lived most of my life so far in Calgary and Galiano Island. A few years ago, my wife and I and daughter moved down here to Todos Santos in the Baja Peninsula, and we bought the Hotel California, and we've renovated it. Spent the better part of a year renovating it, and it's now open for business. The town of Todos Santos is located about an hour drive north of the resort town of Cabo San Lucas. It's a historic town, 7,000 people more or less. It's very quiet. It's an oasis in the desert. I don't know, I've spent most of my business career traveling around the world, and I had never been to Mexico until about 7 years ago. I came down here and I discovered a little bit of everywhere here. A lot of history, a different pace of life, good weather, and just decided because it's close to home and yet far. This is our lobby. It's our reception area at the hotel, and this is an older part of the building. It's built with black palms and adobe. Very thick walls. This chandelier we brought from the mainland and got it here without breaking it. It was a miracle, actually. Well, when I first moved here, we moved to Cabo San Lucas. And the reality of Cabo San Lucas is I began to realize it's really an American community to a great degree, with a lot of Mexican workers. And I didn't like it. I didn't like Cabo at all. And I was ready to go back to Canada, and then the opportunity here came up, and I really love Todos Santos because it's real Mexico. This is a small sitting area for our guests. What we have here, we have only 11 rooms, but we have a lot of common area for our guests to relax and take it easy. Most of the furniture came from mainland Mexico, Guadalajara, that area. San Miguel de Allende. And the building here is original. We knocked this wall out because it was very dark inside, and we kind of opened the place up to have it feel more like a hacienda. And this arch was original, and these lamps are by a Mexican artist from Tlaquepaque. You can't see in the daylight, but at night they're very dramatic. They cast shadows all over the place. This place is really incredible at night. My family is acclimatized here very well. My wife, Debbie, has she's learned to speak Spanish far better than I can, and she gets along great, and she's very happy living here. She's, again, like me, she's dropped a lot of her preconceived notions about how we live in Canada, and we live differently here. Our oldest daughter is in Canada, and she actually never lived here. She was in university when we moved down here. But our younger daughter was 7 years old when we moved here, and she's picked up the language, within the first year, totally fluent. Now she speaks Spanish with a Todos Santos accent, which is a rural country accent. They drop the S's. They say gracia instead of gracias. And then it's like that. It's very sloppy rural speaking. And it's funny, the mainland Mexicans kind of laugh when they hear her speak because they're not used to hearing a foreigner speak with that kind of accent. But she's adapted very well, and As a matter of fact, we sent her to school in Canada a year ago, and she didn't like it at all. She didn't like the weather. And she's been in the Baja a long time. She's become really very Mexican. Here's the outdoor garden area and the pool. This is trying to create here a bit of an oasis in the desert, because we are in the middle of the desert. So it's a refreshing place for people to come after a hot day of trekking through the desert. And we've tried to create a tropical kind of garden. It's a little difficult here in the Baja because the workers here aren't familiar with plants. It's more familiar with cactuses, so the concept of having to water all the time is a bit foreign, but we've gotten through that, and we've created a little bit of a garden here. And we have the church in the background. This is the original church of the town. It was original building built in 1823. In the evening, the choir sings and it reverberates here in the pool, and it's almost spiritual. I don't know, I was living in Cabo, and I kept driving up here and seeing it boarded up. It was closed. It had been closed for a number of years. It was in terrible disrepair, and it seemed like an interesting challenge. The town is growing. This is in the center of town. It seemed like good timing, and it turns out that it has been good timing. The place looked like it needed some tender, loving care. And they have a historic home tour here in Todos Santos, and where people tour the old homes. And I came one year looking at the old homes and thinking, wow, people are really doing interesting things here. And I had the keys to the hotel, so I opened the hotel and I came in and I looked around and I thought, this has to be. And then a year later, we were on the home tour, on the historic home tour. So it happened that quickly. All our rooms are on the second floor, and here we are this is a little sunning area we made out of a dead roof space. But this is nice here. We get full sun all day. This furniture is made locally by local people who make it out of palo d'arco. It's a kind of tree that grows here. It's almost like a weed, but it makes beautiful furniture. And we've made a lot of different things in the rooms out of the same wood. The Baja is like the Wild West. It's a frontier, and even the Mexicans consider it still a frontier. The chance here to be yourself, discover yourself, do the things you've always dreamed of doing, that's the best part of being here. These rooms on the front balcony were the last ones we opened. They were an absolute nightmare to renovate. The plumbing and the electric was a lot of work. The toilets in these rooms had roots inside them. The hotel had been closed for a number of years when we acquired it. And the roots from the ground level had grown right up through the entire plumbing. We had to replace it all. The electric had to be replaced as well. None of it is color-coded, unfortunately, which really makes it a challenge to work with. But we've overcome most of it. We still have ghosts in the electrical system, and it's an ongoing problem. The lights will go out for no particular reason at any given time. But part of the joys of doing business in a small town in Mexico. In order to come to Mexico and do business, I see a lot of people come here and think, I'll just come to Mexico and I can do this, or open a store, or do massages or yoga or whatever. And the fact is, it's very difficult to do many things here. As in Canada, Mexico has immigration laws that protect the local people and don't really want you taking a job from a local person. So the best thing is, if you're coming to Mexico, is you need to think about employing people and how you're going to employ people. Because if you employ people, you'll get your immigration papers and everything's fine. But they really want you to come here and create jobs, which of course we've done here. We have 35 employees, so it works here. But I see a lot of people come who are disappointed after they've been here that they can't get a working visa to do what they thought they could do. So my advice to them is to really check it out first before you make a commitment to be here. You know, if you can't work, you got to be able to support yourself. And this is not, again, as many people have a concept, the vision of Mexico as being cheap. It is, the Baja is not cheap. The Baja is very expensive because we're like an island here and we're isolated from all supplies and everything. So commodities are expensive and land is getting more expensive. So you just be careful and come and live here for a while before you decide to move. That's the best thing. All of our rooms are different. The building's old and every room has its own peculiar character. The colors are, I don't know, they're intuition. I love color and people seem to respond well to it, and after all it is Mexico, so we use a lot of color. And the paint store in town is we're one of their best clients. The furniture in this room is we bought from the commandant of the state police, and he came here one day and suggested that he had a suite of antique furniture that we should buy. And I looked at it and I wasn't too crazy about it, but my manager Alejandro, who's Mexican, said we should buy it because we need a friend in the state police. So here it is. This place is as close to paradise as I've found anywhere. It's just got a little bit of everything that you know that we consider good quality of life. And the project here, the hotel, makes it fun to get up in the morning and look forward to the day and what's next. There's always an element of surprise with the hotel, with the culture, with the business. That keeps life interesting. This is our penthouse suite. Originally there was only a window here, and there were no doors, and it was kind of a small room. We had the notion if we opened it up, we could create a beautiful space. So we did. We put these doors and this Palo d'Arco cover, and we made up here a cactus garden. It's practical because it's harder to water up here. We're on the roof, but it's a very nice. It's a variety of cactuses from around this area. We have an ocean view. You can see how green it is here in Todos Santos. If you look towards the mountains, you see the dry desert, and then you look here towards the sea and you see the beautiful green ocean. And all our cactuses. This is a eucalyptus tree which must have been planted 100 years ago. It's a beautiful thing. Its roots are tearing up our sidewalk, but I refuse to cut it down. And over here you can see the mountains. In the morning the sun rises here, in the evening it sets over the ocean. And it's just the most beautiful place to sit and have dinner. Very romantic. We see a lot of people come through because of the business we're in. So we talk to a lot of people, and many people come here to Todos Santos and to this small town, and they get it. You know, they understand this is a really cool place, and I like it. And there are other people who come and they say, well, what do you do here? And you know, you say, well, nothing. That's what we do here, nothing. And they say, well, how? There must be things to do. And we say, no, just enjoy being here. And they go away and they never come back. And it's just as well they don't. But the people who get it end up coming back. And so there's a very special kind of people who end up settling here, living here, or visiting here. They're all people who are looking for the same things. They're looking for something of themselves here. And there's a magic in this place that lets you find something about yourself. I've learned more about myself in the few years I've lived here than I learned all my life working and running around and trying to do things the way the society has structured you to do it. Here you have a chance to set your own structure and learn about yourself. To me, that's very important.